All right, Abuja, thank you very much for staying with your passionate radio 95.1 Nigeria. In for just 2 seconds before I came on air, I saw a video of a woman in Brazil who jumped out of a moving vehicle. Why? Because she didn't want to pay her fare. I'm like, boy, you think crazy things are happening in Nigeria, and then you hear things happening in Brazil and wonder, boy, humans can be interesting. And how much is the fare enough for you to jump out of a moving vehicle on high speed? Well, a case was taken to the police, and they say, woman, for fare evasion and endangerment, you will pay more and perhaps maybe do time. All right. Don't jump out of a moving vehicle. Pay your fare. All right. Lesson from Brazil. And welcome to the show. I hope it's been great conversation from the morning crossfire. What's happening and the sunny side show? Well, yours truly is reporting for duty. My name is Kimberly Wachuku. Call me Kim, the Oracle, the Digital Oracle, OTF, the Fellow, Ochanya One, Madam Speaker, and I'll say yes. Yes, I'll say yes to them all. I'm excited to be here with you this afternoon. Like I mentioned in the crosstalk with SWAT, we'll start off with some of the big stories in Nigeria, and Nigerians can't stop talking about Benue. Like, how is it even possible that the number of people reported killed in the fresh attack is just possible? It's doing my head in at this point in time that we're not having missiles, we're not having the full-blown war. No ballistic missiles have been sent anywhere, and we are losing this significant number of people. How is it even possible? And it's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third time, and God help us, if we don't address it quickly, it just might not be the last of it. So start off with the story. My guest analyst has joined us virtually. We have Bode Gbadebo, journalist, a public affairs analyst, and he'll be helping us look at some of the big story. Mr. Bode, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining the Big Three.
Thank you, Tim. As usual, it's my pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Abuja.
Good afternoon. Now, Mr. President says enough is enough. And at this point in time, people are saying enough of the talk already. We've had tons of presidents say that already, but we're still losing Nigerians in numbers. And what happens next in terms of the marching order that is giving, it's left for us to see how that's interpreted into action. I sent earlier, Governor of Benue says armed herders who entered the state without cattle are responsible for the recent wave of violent attack. On the 14th of June, over 100 people were killed in an attack by suspected herdsmen in Yelewata and Daudu communities in Guma local government area of Benue State. The death toll from the massacre reportedly has risen to 200 as at Sunday. The Benue killing has sparked nationwide outrage. And speaking on a TV program, the governor said the herders came into the state with AK-47 and AK-49s and said that after the herders carried out murder and destroyed community, a new group of people often move into affected areas. And said the border posed a challenge to the state as many of the assailants throng Benue from neighboring Nasarawa state. And that some of the aggressors arrived through the Cameroon border, adding that some are not Nigerians. Last year, people had gone back home and engaged in farming activities with bountiful produce. But the farming season again, we started experiencing the phase of new attacks and all of that. So he explained how it happened and the kind of weapon they came in with. But I don't know if much explanation as to what they intend to do moving forward. Because I think at this point, Nigerians are sick and tired of, explaining why people are dying in significant number in this country. And even though this directive, because I remember it was the same Benue state that the former president sent the Inspector General of Police to go there. We moved base there. And was it Benue? Benue was one of those states, yeah. And then the president was not even aware that he wasn't there for too long before he left. And then we're getting this number killed again. It's shocking. So, but the president has said enough is enough. But is that even enough at this point in time?
Kim, that was just a rhetoric. And I can tell you that Nigerians are used to it already. If anything happens, in order to escape criticism, that you are not reacting. So it is past time for political office holders to just, put pen to paper and issue a statement, condemn the attack, and mourn with the people. And I can tell you that's all. And that's what the president just did yesterday. Enough is enough. Well, it's not new. He has said that before. I think he's saying it for the second or third time now about Benue. The last time I appeared on this show, Kim, you recall, we started with a similar story. Killings in the same dimension or attacks in the same dimension on some plateau villages, if you recall. So it's just a merry-go-round thing. And there is a vicious circle already. No one is talking about how to find an end to it, rather than just saying, oh, we mourn with the bereaved family, we are condemning the attack, and enough is enough. So, but then the question is, when will enough be enough? And people should be able to ask this question. Yesterday, people were on the street in the state capital, Makurdi, to protest. Policemen were also there to disperse them. What kind of country is that? People want to, vent their grievances about killings of their brothers, their wives, their fathers, and the rest of them. And policemen were coming to also disperse them. Why? Since when did protest, not, violent protest, destruction of public property and the rest, peaceful protest, to just vent your anger, to tell government, enough is enough. But police were there to also tell you, go back home. So that tells you the kind of leadership we have in this country. And I can tell you, we're not actually ready to solve our problem. When we're ready to solve our problem, we actually call.
I'm a little curious. What does it take in terms of? But then what does it take in terms of number to get us ready? Because NEMA is saying 6,527 persons have been displaced by this recent attack. 2 soldiers killed, over 200 people killed. What else does it take? Missiles are flying across the Middle East, and we've not recorded this number just yet.
I was going to say that. In fact, so far, for how many days now, Israel has been firing missiles into Iran. Iran has been firing missiles into Tel Aviv and Haifa in Israel. And I don't think the casualty is up to 300 or 400. But in Nigeria, just in the one local government, you have about 200. Different numbers being bandied around. That tells you the how we take life in Nigeria. And it has been reduced to mere statistics. That's why we bandy around numbers. Oh, it is 100. Oh, it is 200. In fact, I heard the governor on TV this morning saying, oh, media report exaggerated. People that died were actually 50-something. Whether it is 1, 50, or 100, every life is precious. And this also tells you the caliber or the quality of leadership we have in place in Nigeria. And that's why I was saying we are not actually ready to overcome our problem. We are not ready to solve our problem. When we are ready, we will actually call these people to account and ask them, what are they doing regarding security of life and property? And remember, the foremost function of every government anywhere in the world is security of life and property. If you cannot secure the citizens you have, you don't have the right to lay claim to even legitimacy to be in power. Unfortunately, regrettably, and also shamefully in Nigeria, these are the people we even worship. People who don't do what we ask them to do, people we worship, are the people we...
Well, I don't know. I think the network is a conversation. But just to let you know that either you're mad or the economy is bad with until we can reestablish that, just to let you know that the president asked security agencies to arrest perpetrators in incessant killings in Benue State, employed the governor to convene reconciliation meeting and dialogue among the warring parties to end the bloodshed and bring harmonious coexistence between farmers, herders, and communities. And it feels like it's the same script with the previous administration, this reconciliation in the heat of it. Given the fact that we just lost over 200 people, I doubt the people who are mourning their loved ones and their devastation and their displacement want to talk about reconciliation at this point in time. It's perhaps to get to the root of it, the perpetrators of it, the actors in it, bring them to book, and then you heal whatever wound needs to be healed afterwards. But Mr. Bode, oh dear. Okay, let's see if we can reconnect with him, hopefully. All right. But if you can, please join the conversation and let's get your thoughts on this aspect of calling for reconciliation while people are still nursing, their wounds and their injuries and the death of their loved ones or significant others at this point in time. Okay, we'll give our guest a minute to join us. While we do that, David Mark, former Senate president, says the failure of the federal government to address attacks in Benue State could force residents to resort to self-help. That the recurring attacks in the state have left many communities devastated with many lives lost and properties destroyed. He put out a statement on Monday by Special Advisor Paul Mume. The former lawmaker said the situation reflects a failure of the government to uphold its constitutional duty to protect its citizens. That the primary responsibility of any government is the welfare and security of its citizens. Any deviation from this mandate constitutes a gross disservice to the people. And this is the unfortunate reality the Benue people are confronted with. David Mark said that government must rise to its responsibility or risk leaving the people with no option but to defend themselves. But I just need to be sure that you are back online. Hello? Hello, buddy?
Yes, I'm back. Kim.
All right.
Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me?
So, yes, I mean, we took a bit of what the president said about the need to find the perpetrators of this crime and also find a way to bring about reconciliation of the warring parties. And I'm saying it feels like the same strategy that was employed by the previous administration, where it feels like just in the heat of it, while people are still mourning and wondering how we can lose so much number. We're still talking about reconciliation in the same breath. And at this point in time, do you think we should use the same template and the same script, seeing that we haven't seen any difference or change using this strategy? Well, that's just the human way to go about it. Because it does make the government look inefficient if people lose their lives in numbers.
Well, except that, of course, the inefficiency of the highest order. But talking about getting the perpetrators and bring them to book, for me, again, is a rhetoric, because I don't think it has ever happened before. People get killed and the killers, they get away scot-free. Nobody gets arrested. So, but in this case, the president is saying there is the political will and is ready to actually deploy the will to arrest the perpetrators and bring the killings to an end. Well, we can only keep our fingers crossed. But then, if there is no political will, it will just remain a rhetorics. Look at the governor, like I said earlier, saying on national television that the figure of the casualties, was exaggerated. Whether it is 1, 2, or 100, every life is precious. But for the political office holders, I don't think every life is precious. And this also is an eye-opener for ordinary Nigerians to have a rethink that we should know the kind of people we entrust our life to when we were preparing to go to the polls. But in a country where, poverty is everywhere, people will actually get money to vote for any kind of person, whether it's qualified to lead or not. But these are the consequences. The inefficiency in leadership is the consequences.
All right, still having a bit of audio challenge. I see that. All right, buddy. Okay, go ahead. We lost the connection for a second there. Okay, while we're still working on our connection, we'll move on to the next. I know a lot of people are worried. Why is Mr. President not in Benue State yet? So you lost 200 people, thousands displaced. Shouldn't that be top priority for you to be in Benue State and see things for yourself? Well, what do you make of that? I wish we could just get Buddy's take on that also.
Of course. It's the right thing to do. When he was campaigning, he was everywhere to tell the people, elect me as your president, I will do this, I will do that. I will be for you. And now the people are in a big shit. Sorry for that
language,
word.
yeah.
The people are in a big trouble. So to show empathy, it's beyond issuing statement from Abuja. What is important is the president to go and demonstrate that empathy. Go to that place, visit them, and give them words of encouragement and hope.
Perhaps he has a schedule tied with the inauguration of the Greater Abuja Water Supply Network Loop 1, 2, 5, and 6 in the FCT, because that's he's on TV at the moment addressed. Maybe Benue will come next.
All right.
All right, but yeah, you think that if you've lost 200 people and a lot of people displaced, that should be top priority?
Of course, every life is special, is precious. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, that's not the case.
Sadly. All right, let us go on a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll be looking at concerns that's been raised by the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron. They say that Dangote Refinery's forward integration adoption could lead to a monopoly in disguise. Now, are they crying wolf, or is there something legit to look at here? Because on the 15th of June, Dangote Refinery said it would begin the nationwide distribution of diesel and petroleum motor spirit known as petrol from the 15th of August. In a statement on Monday, signed by Joseph Obele, Petron National Public Relations Officer said the association said the development could pose a significant job loss threat to Nigeria. That the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria raised concern about Dangote Refinery's forward integration adoption, warning that it could lead to a monopoly in disguise, pose a significant job loss and a threat to Nigeria. With a production capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, Petron argues that Dangote Refinery could be competing with global refineries not operating as a distributor in the downstream sector.
This is not just a debate. It's a battle of minds. A clash of brains.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk. What do you think? Is Petron crying wolf at this point in time, or is there something to really look at here?
It's an emerging trade war, but it's not unexpected. You know, what Dangote Refinery announced today for me is a novel kind of idea. But of course, we don't expect other operators in the industry who believe that, at the end of the day, if this initiative succeeds, they will be at a loss. So you don't expect them to keep quiet. But for me, it's novel, even though I don't understand or I don't know much about the workings of the oil industry, but it's novel because I read through the statement earlier this morning that it will practically take fuel to our doorsteps, and also for some big buyers, even with promise of making credit facility available, selling to them on credit with the bank guarantee available for them. So in this case, that other operators on the platform of Petron are complaining, I think it's high time the regulator quickly come in to say whether what Dangote did will amount to monopoly or not, one, so that the issue will be put to rest, and then whether it will force buyers to its side. So we have trade laws. So the trade laws, and I believe they are not ambiguous, they are very, very clear. So they should be able to tell us whether what Dangote is doing is unfair in a normal business or trade setting. So if the regulator is coming on time to say this, I think Nigeria will not be at the receiving end. Because with this kind of emerging war between the petrol and another bigger player like Dangote, at the end of the day, there will be reaction that may affect ordinary Nigerians. Okay, Dangote may change his mind. Other people may down tool. They may say they are not distributing fuel again until government forces Dangote to do this or do that. Now, Nigerians will be at the receiving end. So before this emerging trade war gets to that level, I think what is important is the regulator in the industry should not just sit idly and watch. It should really come out to establish the facts in the interest of Nigerians and other stakeholders.
There's also an interesting part you raised, and one isn't sure where to position your thoughts here. The association further warned that the introduction of 4,000 new compressed natural gas, the CNG-powered tankers by Dangote Refinery poses a significant threat to the livelihood of thousands of truck drivers and owners. It's a bit confusing, you know why? Because we've been trying to sell the CNG narrative for a long time, government, and people are buying it, the idea of it. I mean, you save a lot of money on petrol if you have CNG operating. And then Nigerians have always talked about not having enough of the service stations to really top up, and there's a queue building up around the few that we have. Dangote is now saying, all right, we are going to introduce a 4,000 powered tanker to provide for all of this. They are well within their rights. It's a union to say, it will affect our truck drivers. They might lose jobs because people might gravitate towards this. But it's a rock and a hard place. Don't we want more CNG-powered tankers?
It's a germane concern. It's a germane concern. But I think there are other ways to actually arrive at the middle level so that whatever tango they will be having will not affect ordinary Nigerians who are the end users of PMS. You understand? Then already we are migrating from fossil fuel to clean energy sources. So Dangote is saying it will be using truck that will be CNG powered. I think that's also another novel idea that should be embraced and applauded by all. But then, since we may not know what they know, we may not be seeing what they are seeing, whatever are their misgivings or reservations, I think the regulator should quickly step in to aggregate whatever are the concern and make sure the issue is put to rest. My concern is so that at the end of the day, the end users of premium motor spirits, which is called petrol, Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians, and even other big, stakeholders or big buyers, will not be at the receiving end of the emerging trade.
All right, well, it's something to observe, see where it's headed. They're concerned with their union members, perhaps maybe not looking at the benefit of having all of this, so looking also at how it might hold the market. But there's always room to evolve. I mean, you can't want to maintain status quo in the world that is rapidly changing. Nigerians want cheaper.
For me personally, I don't see actually monopolizing the market. The market is very big.
Market will throw your money into it if you've got the financial money to pull it off. Nigerians want something that's a bit more affordable for them. And if somebody is bringing... Yeah, exactly. So maybe they should start thinking of introducing their own tanker for CNGs. I don't know. It's either you evolve, you go extinct at this point. Even in the business world, that's how it works. All right. We're open up the phone line. Get your take. A big story. Benue is of concern to a lot of Nigerians, even though a lot of Nigerians are also following up what is happening in the Middle East. But I've lost count of the amount of missiles that have been sent from one end to the other. And I'm just in awe on how creative humans can be and equally destructive. That we create some of these sophisticated things you could send for thousands of kilometers to just destroy something. It's ingenious. And then the fact that we think it's okay to send it and destroy another human infrastructure and the like is shocking for me. It's staggering what is going on. But the war in the Middle East has expanded, obviously. At this point in time, Nigeria put out a statement condemning India for its Israel, I beg your pardon, for its fire. And then there was a retaliatory one from the Iranian end. At this point in time, we might get dizzy if we could put in statement and condemning from both ends. But where do we stand in all of this? We just, bystander facing our own problem, or should we be concerned? Because we're talking geopolitics, and I don't think we'll be spared from it.
We can't just watch idly. We can't be bystanders. We must be interested in what is happening between Iran and Israel, even though they are thousands of kilometers far away from us in the Middle East. Remember, there is this popular saying that if the beard of your neighbor is on fire, quickly look for water around to apply to your own so that the fire will not actually be transferred to you. Now, people might be thinking, oh, how will Israel-Iran conflict affect me in Nigeria? Already we are feeling, the frenzy is here already in Nigeria. I don't know if you are reading people's comments on social media, there is this religious dimension.
Oh, yeah.
A particular religion taking side with Iran and a particular religion taking side with Israel. But what I find amusing, very, very amusing, is that, I've seen some kind of intermediaries trying to say, don't take side with Israel. Why would you take side with Israel? It's not a Christian state. It's not a Christian country. But they can't say that about the other supporters of the other country. Very, very amusing. But that, by the way, remember, there is this place called the Strait of Hormuz between Iran and Oman. That Strait of Hormuz on the water is a very, very busy route for oil shipments in the world. Oil shipment in the world. Now, if this hostility continues and Iran decides to close that Strait of Hormuz for the rest of the world to feel the heat of the war, I can tell you it will affect oil price on the international market. And it can even, I've had experts saying it can shot to as more as $100 per barrel. You know what that means for the international economy or for individual oil producers. Nigeria is a major oil producer. You know what that means. So the price of oil will go up if that happens. So for both countries, the gladiators, both Israel and Iran, there are a lot of implications for them because these latest hostilities has exposed a lot of things, Kimberly. Let me tell you one. For the first time, I'm getting to know that Iran possesses much more missiles than Israel. But then, the country will have to think very well whether this same one fight is worth to expend all its missiles on. And at the end of the day, it will not be vulnerable. Number two is Iran is fighting the war with Israel very, very cautiously. Remember, there is this third party, the US, which is a very, very close ally of Israel. Even though US is trying to play safe by saying, we are neutral. But you know, US is not neutral. US will naturally back its ally, Israel. And the Prime Minister, very, very in good term, Benjamin Netanyahu, very, very in good term with US President Donald Trump. But what is even more problematic for Iran is that Trump is not reliable, it's not stable. He might be here today, he might be there tomorrow. So Iran must be very careful because US has a lot of military bases in the whole of Middle East.
Oh, yeah.
Any attack on one of them will make Iran to confront two enemies at the same time. That means Israel and US. And I don't think Iran will be able to withstand that. So a lot of implications. The best thing is for both gladiators to sheath their sword, go back to the round table and talk about this nuclear thing. I know that's at the heart of the crisis.
Well, apparently that's why Israel took that preemptive shot and saying that just to destabilize whatever nuclear warhead it is they have on the ground, even though Iran has said repeatedly, this is not what we're about. It's for something else. But doesn't feel like the world believes Iran that much. But, the big question about all of this, who has a right to, who doesn't have a right to? What makes one country qualified to have 100, 200, thousands of nuclear warhead and the next country is not allowed to build one at this point in time?
Yeah, who decide that? It's about, the whole thing is about fear of the unknown. That, I don't trust this, my neighbor. He may one day wake up and say, want to cut my hair.
Why would I trust the one who has plenty already?
It should not possess a knife at home. You understand? But whatever it is, I think going to war is not the right thing because innocent people are dying. Israel has suffered a lot of damages to its infrastructure. People have died. In Iran, the same thing. Over 200 persons have died in Iran. infrastructures have been destroyed that will take time to put back together. In fact, on the part of Iran, key cabinet members in the military circle have been killed. So for both countries, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. There can never be a winner in this war. What we have at the end of the day is trail of blood and destruction on both sides. So what option do they have? Sheath their sword, swallow their pride, and actually come back to the round table to discuss whatever is the bone of contention so that they can live peacefully in the interest of the common people in those both countries.
All right, really about the interest. It's sad what is going on in the Middle Eastern part of the country at this point in time, and a lot of people cannot understand how in 2025, 21st century, we can allow this go on. But it is what it is. Will they expand beyond these countries and this region? Would other actors, international players send, boots on ground? You never can tell. We're thinking it was going to happen with Russia and Ukraine. But, the one in the Middle East has some bit of peculiarity to it that if it's not properly managed, it might bring other outsiders and it might cause a lot of devastation to the region.
Exactly. In fact, in that case, the consequences will be better imagined than experienced when others are now involved, All
right. Well, I don't want to be one of those who is beating the drum of a World War III. It feels like humanity has been waiting for it. Humans, I wouldn't say humanity. Some people have been drumming and hoping, fantasizing about a global war, but I hope it doesn't happen.
But you may not be able to escape one thing at the end of the day, which is the heat of high oil price in the international market. You may feel the heat.
We need to brace ourselves then. All right, let's go to the phone lines. A lot of people waiting. Feel free, join the conversation 0700 951 0000, or you can call via WhatsApp 0809 9930 137. Seeing that I have a lot of people waiting, keep it at 1 minute, all right? Just straight to the point so that we take as many as possible. Hello?
Good afternoon. My name is Adola Victor from Gisalagi.
Go ahead. Let me just find out from my guest if he can hear you. Wade, can you hear our caller?
Yes, I think I can hear.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, as a matter of fact, Islam is a threat to the Middle East and the world generally. So therefore, anything that will be done to stop Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons must be stopped. Because Iran for many years is notorious as someone sponsoring terrorism all over the world, even though in Nigeria. So they will be stopped because we have that country, that leader, you see, he has killed a lot of people. And therefore,
all right.
America, it is time for America to deal with it and listen, so that you be stopped, so that you not cause a threat. Thank you.
Okay, well, they are known to be behind the financiers for groups like Hamas, Hezbollah. When you talk about Nigeria, I was hoping you were going to maybe cite an example or two. But let's leave it at that. Let's hear this caller. Hello. Yes, good afternoon. Anybody there? Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Your Excellency.
You're
Kimberly.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, I'm Mahmoud South Abubakar Ali, and I'm calling from PW Kubwa.
Go ahead, sir.
Like you have said, with 4,000 CNG fuel tankers, Your Excellency, it means oil will easily get to this country in real time and at affordable price. What is the cost of the haulage of the quality? Not the cost of diesel. If that is what is the definition of a monopoly, please, they should allow they should go and buy 10,000 CNG. The independent merchant should go and buy 10,000 CNG enabled trucks of counter. Enough of this, enough. And at the last time, Iran has exposed one thing. The defense system of Israel is invincible as Israel and America have been trying to trade. So maybe in the night that they go, my own make for buy. Thank you very much for the phone.
All right, thank you very much. It says the Iron Dome is not that formidable after all. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
My name is Samson. I'm calling up in Otako right now.
Samson in Otako. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. My own concern about this Benue State killing. Because let Mr. President try and best anything that make those things stop in Benue State, let it stop. Let us stop all those politics and endorsement everywhere. But it is sorry, I don't work. This Saturday and bring new faces, so I'll try that and see. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello. Good afternoon. Anybody there? Sorry about that. Suleiman Samuel from Airport Road says the killing are just too much. When will they ever stop? What is the government doing? The president was quick to pay condolences to India after the crash. Over 200 of his people massacred and is yet to put out a tangible statement. Well, it's without though. And send group supplies to survivors. No state of emergency, nothing. So happy his condolences. You see them is the priority of president is not for the well-being of people. Would your house be on fire and you just sit there? Samuel is asking. On the things in Benue and indeed across the entire middle of Nigeria, is becoming increasingly clear that the attack headers, particularly in farming communities of the West, middle belt and states, collectively known food basket of nation, are far from random. These killings appear to be part of a calculated political strategy by a section that seems to be gradually losing its grip, maybe on power, feeling short-changed and uncertain, but regaining dominance anytime soon. They have resulted to arming food soldiers to destabilize the region. Okay. Let's see here. The intention seems to be weakened by the North Central Zone, destroying its agricultural backbone, pushing the nation towards food insecurity and hunger. Many of the region's youth who once farmed to feed both the north and the south of the country are now becoming weaponized and diverted into banditry unrest. Patrick ABJ passed that one in. Good afternoon to our guest on the issue of insecurity in Benue State. We're in solidarity with the people, but it's all the victims, resting people. Will they, the citizens, you devote to wise action? It's quite unfortunate, though. God help us from Gariki. Emmanuel from I overheard you talking about jumped out of a moving vehicle. Can you recap? What really, woman? It's radio. We've moved past that. Who told your guests have more missiles? Israel? Is he following it all, or just a fan caller from? What are you talking about? I don't understand your question. So she now, Comrade Fodu says Mr. President's refusal or inability to visit and sympathize with the relations of the dead is shocking and difficult to believe or explain. I say so because Mr. President is an African, a Yoruba man who's member of ethnic nationality believe in the sacredness of human life. I think the only reason to explain is the inability or refuse at the cities of mass killings because of the alien values imbibed. You know, most of us Africans have lost our core value. Hence, we don't see any reason to do things in African ways. I wish to plead with Mr. President to, without any further delay, jet out to Benue, to Plateau, another state who've had killings, to sympathize and cry with those crying. It's one of our core traditions for leaders to pay condolence visits to those who lost their loved one. Mr. President, please go to Benue, go to Plateau, go to other states where innocent lives have been wasted and consolations. Hello?
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how are you?
Fine and well, sir.
Happy New Week, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. What's your name, sir?
My name is Ojoji, Next President.
All right, you've got a minute, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I want to appreciate the guests for some of the things they shout. Just say the insecurity in the country. What is giving me a headache is what are the things they say now in place to secure them of their people. About insecurity is locally based. It's from one country to the other. I don't see why it's so taking this governor time to set up to support what they provide. Look at what is happening in the Southwest. The governor in the Southwest put together at this point in time is going to do some and check. Is this so difficult for the news? Come to routine. So why can't come together and security after we help them to what federal government will provide? Because are not from where they are and begin to solve them. It be a local social first. If where before you took over, the governor they banned the former local vigilante set up by the former governor. Not that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Have some we see you on YouTube. Key guests and saddened the recent happening in Bentate, and also live Facebook Nigeria Info Abuja. You can comment, you can leave your thoughts there, and take some of them as possible. But is anything you want to add to this?
I just want to correct an impression. The caller from sent a message talking about weapons. Whether I said it has more weapons than Israel, I didn't say so. What I said was ballistic missiles at the disposal of Iran presently is more than that of Israel, not the totality of weapons, ballistic missiles. But then I said Iran may not be able to gamble to expend all on one war with Israel. So it will not be put itself at a vulnerable state. End of the day.
Kola Oladipo on Facebook happened to the Chief of Army style visit to Benue. Also, Francis Namani endorsing Mr. President for a second term amidst the incessant killings in Benue and Plateau is uncalled for at this point. Mr. President should declare state of emergency over the unfortunate killings. May God help us. And watching good to know. Now, a lot of people calling for that of emergency in a group of cleric press conference a couple of weeks back, saying it's emergency university preempting and declared state of emergency. What's holding Mr. President back from doing it in Benue?
I think the present situation now has exposed the motive behind state of emergency. You recall in the present republic, the recent history from 1999, the first one we had was in Plateau State in 2000, if you recall, Kimberly. And the very essence of the concept, actually, there were sense killings in that time. If you recall, the Shandam local government killings. And former President Olusegun at the time now declared state of emergency so that the military will be in charge of security and they will actually, bring everything under control. But to tell the city how to do the right thing. It means what the president did in Rivers was just a kind of a political gimmick to capture the state. Because that was just, for me, it was the case of two fighting between two political gladiators, the suspended governor Siminalayi and the FCT minister Yesun Wike. That was all. Even though they say, our economy was threatened because there were explosions at wellhead in some localities in Rivers State, and there were, oil or whatever. At the end of the day, we discover those were mere mechanical faults. It was never a terrorist attack or any kind of a deliberate vandalism. So if the president can do that, you can as well repeat the same thing to save many lives in Benue. It means the priest in charge, Reverend Father Alea, is not on top of the game as far as security is concerned. The president needs to move in to save the people, forget party. Now probably he's having a cold feet because they belong to the same party. So the people calling for state of emergency are not out of order at all. If at all we are a serious country. If state of emergency will stop killing of people, do it to save the people. Since the emergency can ensure a capture of the state over minor things, then what are we talking about? So remember, I spoke about political will. Ab initio. If the political will is not there, we just be wasting our time. We just be talking. The political will to do the right thing must always be there for to do the right thing.
Very much. One or more calling us now to rise.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. And I get joined. About insecurity in Benue State. And why is the secretary to the federal government quiet in talk? Is it not from Benue State? Why are they itself quiet? I remember when we went to, was it Kasala? And said they don't raise moral of us. Then when they had the opportunity to go and greet the family, as though that he just went and attended the wedding without it, they will complain. So he just went for that wedding and used that opportunity. How come there have been so many killings and nothing is happening? And if there is an election now in one state, they will send 32,000 policemen, 18,000 soldiers, 14,000 defense just for one state election. Why are they kept quiet? Are the people in Benue State, are their lives less than other people, other Nigerian lives? Why do we value? We value people and we don't value lives. We don't live lives in Nigeria.
That's really great. Thank you very much.
I'm beautiful and bold. They say I'm fashionable, and to crown it up, very this is Nigeria in.
This is Nigeria Info.